Good evening. It's 5 o'clock on October 1st, 2024, and I'm calling this session of the Bastrop City Council to order. The City of Bastrop reserves the right to reconvene, recess, realign the regular session or called executive session or order of business at any time prior to adjournment. Council, I thought I'd let you know that items 4 and 5 will not be considered this evening, so we'll even have a shorter agenda than what we had first anticipated. I am very pleased that we have two young people from the Red Rock Elementary RISE program. We have Juliana Borrega. Please step forward. And Lucius Garcia, if you'll step forward. And if y'all will all stand, these outstanding young folks are going to lead us in the pledge. Outstanding. Can we give them a round of applause? As I said, this gentleman here is going to take y'all's picture. If y'all will.
Think real quick.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so very much. We appreciate y'all. Hope you do good in social studies. Hope you do good in math. If y'all will remain standing, we're going to ask one of our outstanding chaplains, Reverend Keitrid Seeger, to come up here and lead us in a word of prayer.
Thank you, Mayor. Council members, Proverbs 4 tells us, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and in all you're getting, get an understanding. And so, Lord, today, we come seeking you, Lord, not for just knowledge, but for wisdom. Wisdom that only can come from you, that can fix a nation, fix a community, fix a city, heal a people, and bring all things together in your righteous way. So we thank you for that today, Lord. I bless these people, these council members, the mayor, Lord, as they seek you first. You will supply us with all that we need. Lord, we thank you for your peace and your grace over this great city of Bastrop. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
God bless you guys.
Thank you. Outstanding asset to our community. We really appreciate all you do. Council, we will move to presentations. Item 6, move to presentation. We're going to try to keep it short, but I do want to mention the fact that last week we attended the Family Crisis Center Luncheon. It was an outstanding program, Inspire, Empower, and Thrive, and it was emceed by our own council member Fossler, who did an outstanding job. She may have more to say on that. I want to congratulate Kathy Henson, Bernie Jackson, the board at Family Crisis Center, and their staff for not only outstanding program, but for the outstanding work they do on a daily basis. Real quick update, boards and commissions, we normally do those mid-September. When we were looking at them, there was only 19 applications for 43 open positions. We put out a call and our citizens stepped forward, and last week I had 37. I got 3 more of them today, so we have 40 applications for the 43 seats. We're going to keep trying to pull them together, and we'll be doing our board appointments around the 17th, and then council will be seeking confirmation from our council on that. Interviews are going to be conducted 14th and 15th. Am I correct? Only the 15th. Thank you for correcting me. But stay tuned. We'll move to the council members' report. Mayor Pro Tem, do you have anything you wish to offer?
Hello, Bastrop. Good to see you here and online as you are. That's all. Thank you.
Councilmember Fossler.
I'll take his time. Thank you very much. Good evening, y'all. Such a such a big happening time. It like starts to get cool and everybody like plans everything. Last weekend was the Bastrop Music Festival. It was our 6th annual and it was fantastic. I hope y'all got to come out and enjoy some of the music that started Thursday night and went through Sunday afternoon. It was a full weekend. I didn't miss a show. This coming weekend, we have Art Blast. It's our first weekend. We used to call it First Friday, but now we've tacked on Saturday events as well. It's called Art Blast. So a lot of our local artists will be giving sales in their shops. So come out and meet your local artists Friday night, 6 to 9 p.m. There'll be a flash mob happening too. So flash sale on the art, flash mob in the streets. Also this weekend is our Master Gardener Fall Plant Sale on Saturday at the Mayfest Park from 9 to 1 p.m. It always sells out early, so get there on the early end, like 9 to 10, or you might cry. We have seen tears. And then also this weekend, Ascension Catholic Church is having their Fall Festival on Sunday, and it's always a fantastic time. Councilmember Plunkett and I got to go to the groundbreaking ceremony for elementary school number 9, still yet to be named. They are taking naming suggestions through October 12th, I believe. It's on the BISD website if you want to submit your name recommendations. There are 3 schools being named. If you go to bisdtx.org/name our schools, you can have your say in what our schools are named. And lastly, tonight is National Night Out, and Bastrop is participating. Several neighborhoods are coming together between about 6 and 8 p.m. So the ones that I'll be stopping by after this, and you're welcome to, the Kerr Center with the Lions Club, they're meeting there tonight from 6 to 8. It's right behind City Hall, so after, go get some hamburgers and hot dogs right over there. Riverwood Commons, Friendship Bible Church, and Tahitian Village at the Bastrop River Club is hosting it. So lots of things happening. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember Plunkett.
Yeah, see, she took mine too.
Thank you. Councilmember Meyer.
Thank you. Yes, I just want to congratulate the Bastrop Bears. They had their homecoming game Friday, and they beat McCallum in the last minutes, 39-32. So go Bears. Also, this week on Thursday, we have the Farm Street Opry at 7 o'clock at the Convention Center. If you haven't been yet, make it a point to go. It's such a treat to always go in and hear that great music. And also I wanted to say, if you go to the museum and you don't see engine number 1 there anymore, it didn't disappear. It's going to reappear at the Convention Center probably in December to be on exhibit there. So it has left the museum and it's going to make its way down to the Convention Center in December.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Bastrop. So the Opera House just finished Young Frankenstein, and I wanted to give them congratulations. I didn't get to go because I waited too late to buy a ticket, and they were sold out every single weekend. So apparently it was a popular show, and hopefully they'll bring that back for a second run.
It was good.
I will. Was it good? I hate I missed it, but the music festival was going on all weekend, and I've never attended all 3 days, and I attended all 3 days. I was exhausted by Sunday. I couldn't do it. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I was out trying to hit as many as I could and got to hear a lot of repeat bands that I hadn't heard before. So that was exciting. Got to hear a lot of good music, but well done again on the music festival. I will be starring at the Opera House in the latest production, that the first of the season actually, Wait Until Dark. It's a film remake of a movie Audrey Hepburn did back in the day, and I'm playing a police officer. So I'm very excited about that. And that will start running, I believe, the second weekend in October. We got 3 more weeks, I think. So my role is so easy. I do want to end with some thoughts and prayers for our community. There have been a lot of car accidents recently on 95 and over by McDonald's and Home Depot and in that area. And I drive into Austin every day, and it's pretty dangerous, the level of fast and furious on the highway. So just asking residents to slow down. I don't know if these individuals that we have lost in our community are from Bastrop, but I'm praying for their families and their loved ones, and asking residents to just kind of slow down. Look out for everyone else. Wherever you're going, it will be there when you get there. Lives are more important. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, council. We'll move to item number 7, staff and board reports, for our city manager's report. Madam City Manager.
Mayor and Council, I tried to just give you a quick bullet. First and foremost, we are going to begin pushing out some absolute critical information related to a prescribed burn at Bastrop State Park. It's part of their upkeep of the park to really keep fire at a minimum, but that requires some burn of underbrush. And so given that this community is super sensitive to smoke and fire, we're going to make sure that we have a video that rolls when council's in executive session. We're helping them build out their website. We've given them a PowerPoint, a Prezi, actually, a spine from which to work with. So you're going to be hearing about that every single council meeting, so don't yell at me. I did send an email to all of council about a high school meeting with students on Friday. There's a few slots that still remain, so please, if you haven't responded, please do so. These are high school students who want an ear. They have ideas and also complaints about what the city is doing. So, wear your thick skin. These are high schoolers. They don't always have a filter. The mayor already mentioned the boards and commission. The banquet is on 10/24 at 6:30, so please be sure you have that on your calendar. We do have the comprehensive plan kickoff scheduled for the October 22nd meeting. They will present to the council first to get an idea of what the council's goals and desired outcomes will be before coming back and circling back to Planning Commission and starting with the massive public outreach effort that's involved with that. We do have a Planning Commission meeting. It was scheduled for 10:31. It is, because that's Halloween, it's been moved to the 30th, the day before, and we do have a 5 p.m. start. We had planned to have a workshop on 10/17, but something called Boards and Commission Interviews and Appointments meeting got in the way. So we have a 5 p.m. start on that day. In your packet last Friday was a memo that's talking about sort of the 5 top items that we need to address and address pretty quickly, and that's density, lot sizes, parking, the tree ordinance, traffic and park dedication ordinances. And then lastly, I will let Michaela come up to talk about found fine art.
Hello, Mayor, Council. This is my first time addressing you guys, so hello officially. Michaela Joyce, Main Street Manager. Right along the time that I got here, I was scrambling to figure everything out. I'm new to the Texas Downtown Association, but we are a member of that group. And every year they do the Texas Downtown Awards with several different categories. We this year decided to submit found fine art for best renovation rehabilitation. And I'm super excited to announce that we were selected as a finalist. So I'm just here to encourage everyone to jump on Facebook. The only way to vote is if you have a Facebook page and you go on a Texas Downtown and there's a picture of found fine art, you have to hit the like or love button on their picture. So we are currently in the lead. I just checked. We're about 40 votes ahead of the other two. One of them is in Brenham. So if everyone could just jump on and vote for them, that'd be great. And then in the event that we are selected as a winner, that will be announced at the Texas Downtown annual meeting. That will be in Abilene this year towards the end of this month. So we will be working on taking a group with us to hopefully come home with a winner. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you for your input on the boards and commissions. You were very helpful on that. Councilmember Lee.
Thank you. City Manager, I just have a couple of things. So I saw the Waste Connections come by with a trailer full of old trash cans, but I'm sure there's still some people out there that didn't get the memo. So can you talk about what that would look like for them at this point? Do they have to call them, or are they having another pickup?
So right now it is completely by pickup. So we had our communications folks push out a social media post that says if you have a trash can that still hasn't been picked up, to call us at the utility business office and we'll arrange pickup. We're trying to be efficient and get as many addresses together before they come out
back
to pick up.
Yeah, it was a trailer full, so I was like, that's got to be everybody, but I know there's some out there.
So we may have, I just got notice that we may have a Saturday pickup. So we're getting confirmation for
Okay.
that.
And then my last thing is the noticeable street shutdown on Pecan and Main. You can't really see the little piece of tape with some numbers scribbled on it. I want to say October 9th, but going by so fast I can't really tell. So can you talk about that and what those shutdowns are going to look like? Because they're all down Main and Pecan.
I'm going to let John, our streets superintendent, address that.
believe it's on our website. Colin has uploaded some stuff. Just look for the HA5. I have all that stuff in my office, but it has all the maps where we're going to be, the dates we're going to be. This year, in the fall, we did some changes to the sign. It has a code on there that they can snap on it, and you can see all the details about HA5, when they're going to be in your neighborhood and what you need to do. So it's really helped a lot. They said they've done it in different cities, and it's been
Well,
we have-
very,
I'm,
very
I'm more
QR.
concerned about the shutdown of the street and the amount of people that live on that street. Can you give them some information about when they will be able to drive on the street, what route?
It'll be like the last time. They have to stay off from 7 in the morning till about 5 in the afternoon. But they've gone door to door. They're in the process of doing that. So they've been visiting with HOAs, if there is a HOA, like at Piney, Bean Creek. So they'll meet with them. So it's just like they did last time. They did above and beyond. They did really good.
So door hangers, information.
hangers.
We can send the council. We'll send you an updated map as to what that
Yeah.
means, so when you guys get the calls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Plunkett.
I just had a quick question for Michaela. You can stay there. I'll say it out loud so you don't have to come all the way up. Does a like or a love count as a different points? Okay, thank you. Does it all count the same? Just want to make sure.
And, yes, and please, 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 don't just like the person who shared the page. You must go to the Texas Downtown page, and you must go to the Found Fine Art picture. That's the button that you like. And so if you're able to share, if you go to that page and you just land on that picture, you can share just that picture, and it makes it that much easier for people to vote. And just make sure you tell your followers not to like your post, but to like the picture.
Councilmember Meyer.
Yes, thank you. And yes, John, you are correct. I just pulled it up on the website. It's all there. So residents, go to the City of Bastrop website, street maintenance, and all the information is there, color-coded, everything.
Thank you. Thank you, City Manager. We'll move to citizen comments. I have two here. Madam City Secretary, do you have any additional ones? No, sir, we do not. The first one I have is Charles Petrie. He is asking, is Charles Petrie here? He does not want to speak on this, and it's relative to a specific charging plug that he would like for us to place in town. I will pass this off to our city manager. The next one, who does wish to speak in citizen comments, David Harwell. I bet you we know what this is about.
Well, maybe not.
Surprise me.
I am David Harwell, 113 Wiley Court, Bastrop, Texas. So I know that y'all are looking at the budget. You're going to get your new budget. I looked at the draft budget for 2025 online. I was hoping to see the priorities of the city, because I'm wondering what they are. I don't quite know what they are, because I assume that the spending would be adjusted to take into account those priorities. And one of my priorities is the rec center and those programs. So I wanted to see how it was affected. I wasn't able to see that there. I also haven't gotten a good feeling, or I don't want to say good feeling, I just don't have a feeling of what the priorities of this council are with respect to the city. So I don't know if it's a good use of my time to come and talk to you about things in the rec center, or if that's, I don't want to waste your time. And the things that I've heard you talk about were on the scale of, say, $100,000. We've spent a lot of time, or y'all have spent a lot of time, I was listening, a lot of time talking about those types of items. But when I look at the proposed budget, total revenue for the city is $73 million. Total expenses for the city are $93 million. 100,000 is less than 1% of either one of those numbers. So I wonder if you could spend in the future a little more time on those other, say, $73 to $93 million that you are responsible for, that you lead for us, that you take care of for us. Because it'd be nice to understand why we don't have enough money to do certain things, or why we might have enough money to do something else. Where are the opportunities? I don't know, but in 93 million or 73 million, whichever one of those you want to use, well, there's a lot of responsibility for each one of you, and there's a lot of opportunities for all of us. So if we could better understand that and map it out to the things that are the highest priority for the city and for our community, maybe we could get ahead of this and lead the way into something that's better for Bastrop instead of reacting when things go bad. So that said, thanks for all you do, and I hope to see more.
Thank you very much. That's all the citizen comments that we have. Council, we'll move on to item 9, consent agenda. We have a single item on the consent agenda. Does anybody here at the dais want to remove that single item? Seeing none indicated, is anybody in the audience that wishes to remove that single item? Seeing none, Madam City Secretary, if you will read our consent agenda.
Consent and act on resolution number R 2024-133, awarding a contract for the installation of holiday lighting to Decor IQ in the amount of $202,595.94, attached as Exhibit A, authorizing the execution of all necessary documents upon request and providing for findings of fact, repealer, severability, effective date, proper notice, and meeting.
Council, the City Secretary has laid out consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Councilmember
Second.
Plunkett and a second from Councilmember Lee. I think she came in second on the motion. Madam City Secretary, if you will call the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland,
Yes.
Councilmember Fossler,
Yes.
Councilmember Lee,
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Councilmember Plunkett.
Yes.
Motion carried.
So is Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland that made the motion that I will stand corrected then. We will move on to our items for individual consideration. Item 10A, consider an act on resolution number R-2024-115, approving the execution of a renewal of property use license agreement between the City of Bastrop and the 1832 Farmers Market located at 1302 Chestnut Street in Bastrop, Texas, providing for findings of fact, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, providing for proper notice and meeting. Ms. Andres.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Bear with me one second while I get the clicker. All right, I have before you this evening a renewal of the long-standing agreement dating back to 2008 between the City of Bastrop and the 1832 Farmers Market for the use of the property at 1302 Chestnut Street. The Bastrop 1832 Farmers Market is governed by an all-volunteer board of directors and is a Texas Department of Agriculture certified farmers market. Their mission is to create and sustain a marketplace for small family farmers, ranchers, producers, and artisans to sell and promote their own farm and ranch products, artisan wares, ready-to-eat foods, and other homemade products in a family-oriented environment. The location is highlighted for you on the map at 1302 Chestnut Street, also across the street. The last property use agreement between the city and the farmers market was approved in 2017 with the following key points. It defined the use of the lot on Saturdays and Tuesdays and on special holiday markets and/or also known as special events, as permitted by the Main Street Director, which is now Miss Michaela Joyce. It stated that the farmers market is not an exclusive user of the lot, and the reason for that term was the intent is to encourage this space to become a community hub for other entities when not in use by the farmers market, and it also transferred utility payments and maintenance responsibilities to the city in exchange for the monthly payment of $300. We have recently renewed and revised the agreement. It still maintains all of the previously mentioned key points. The changes are as follows. This agreement is for an initial 1 year with up to 5 automatic extensions. So essentially, staff would revisit with the farmers market in about 5 years, 2030, just to make sure that the terms are still relevant, or if there's any updates that need to be made, that happens at that time. The payment for the use of the property is increasing from $300 a month to $350 a month. It also expressly clarifies that this agreement is a license agreement, and there were also clarifications made relating to obtaining permissions for the structures on the property, the use of the storage shed, and other minor revisions for the agreement's structure and terms. At this time, I am recommending that council takes action on resolution number R 2024-115, approving and authorizing the execution of a renewal of the property use license agreement between the City of Bastrop and the 1832 Farmers Market located at 1302 Chestnut Street. I also have Ms. Michaela Joyce, who is the primary point of contact for the city and going back and forth between the farmers market, and I also have the members of the farmers market here in case you have any questions from any of us tonight.
Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland.
How is the property used on Tuesdays?
Tuesdays, it's a market, and would y'all like to?
At one point, we would have the,
You need to come up to the microphone, please.
Hi, I'm Lois McElwain, and I'm on the board for the Bastrop 1832 Farmers Market. And we used to have Tuesday markets because a lot of people complained that they wanted to have us there during the week. So we did that. And then we discovered after nearly a year that a whole lot of people didn't show up. And we would have it at a convenient time in the afternoon so people could come directly from work. But that date is open in case we should once again decide to do that, depending on what the city would like to, the community would like to do. If they want us there, we'll be there.
So I'm not concerned, I don't struggle with the idea that you would use it on Tuesday, but to secure it in the form of the license agreement and then not use it feels like it could be used for something else potentially. For city staff question, we're planning to do a Feed the Need event on Wednesdays, is that correct?
On Wednesdays.
Across, yes.
Yes, sir.
Are we aware of any other entities that have expressed an interest in potentially using the space across the street?
I have not formally heard of that. Sorry, Ms. Lewis. I have not formally heard that at this point, but Ms. Michaela would be the primary point of contact if someone was to reach out, and I don't think that she's heard anything yet either, but
okay.
There's still hope.
Like I said, if you had an active thing on Tuesdays, it'd be like, great, let's do it. My concern is that maybe someone would come up and say, could we do something, once or twice a month on a Tuesday, and we'd have to say no because you have a license to use it at that time, but it's not actually being used, even though you have the license for 5 years to do it. Mr. City Attorney. What? Did someone say my name? I guess my question is just in the ballpark of, is there any, I don't know, is there a right of first refusal where, someone else could ask for it and they could say, no, we need it at that time, but Tuesdays could still possibly be open? Or how would that be handled, just if something like that came up?
Mayor Pro Tem, Council, the current arrangement is not structured that way. But it could be. It could be that what they're receiving is exactly as you described. They have first dibs, but if they don't provide us notice that they're going to exercise that within a certain amount of time, then staff could be authorized under the agreement to let somebody else have that opportunity.
Yeah, like I wouldn't even consider that for Saturday mornings. You've been doing that, faithfully, and it's a great experience for our community. I go, fairly regularly myself. But Tuesdays, it's like, well, since we just for the first time had a new party use that space or sign up to use that space on Wednesdays, I'm kind of contemplating the possibility of, well, who else might use it? And so to have Tuesdays turned off because of, to have it turned off but not actually have an event there just feels like the possibility or maybe something could be available.
Well, I can add that, and under no
Speak into the
circumstances would we do
microphone.
that.
Yeah, thank you.
I can add that under no circumstances will we refuse another party
Right.
if they wish to use the space on a Tuesday.
Okay. And I believe you.
Thank you very much.
Maybe we can add something to the language that would indicate that in the lease. That would be.
Sure, that's a simple amendment to the contract that I think they get right of first refusal if they have a plan for Tuesday, and they have a plan for Tuesday, so we go to a different Tuesday or a different day, so.
Yeah, that would be fine. Thank you.
With your permission, Mayor and Council, we'll insert language in Article 1, subsection 2. Article 1B, we'll insert some additional language in that part of the agreement. If you choose to approve it going forward, it'll have that first refusal language included.
So we can still take action tonight with the understanding that we're going to amend that section.
Yes, Mayor, I can add that after the fact if council approves it with that addition.
Outstanding. Councilmember Meyer.
Yes, I really just wanted to make a statement and thank y'all so much for what you do, because this community loves its farmers market. And I can tell you, one of the things I always hear from the people is make sure nothing happens to the farmers market. And I love you too, and I frequent there often. So thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you. Councilmember Fosler.
Where is it? I also wanted to give you all a shout out. Y'all were part of my first experience moving here and have been continued to be part of my family's ongoing experience for years. And I even like in your updated rules and regulations, your mission, or a statement that I want to read. It says, when food is produced, processed, distributed, and sold, all within the same region, more money stays in the local economy, which leads to economic development and job creation. And I love how you do all that in a very small circle of care, and I appreciate that very much about y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, council, the assistant to city manager and our Main Street manager have laid this item out. If there's no further questions for them, I entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve the resolution with the amendment that the language to make flexible the Tuesday date.
Second.
Is that second by Mayor Pro Tem? Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Plunkett, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland. Any further discussion? Seeing none indicated, Madam City Secretary, if you'll call the roll.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Lee?
Yes.
Councilmember Myers?
Yes?
Councilmember Plunkett?
Yes.
Councilmember Fosler?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, council. Motion passes unanimously. We'll move on to item 10B. Consider an act on, thank y'all very much for what y'all do. We appreciate you. Consider an act on resolution number R-2024-130, approving a construction contract with Joe Bland Construction LLC for a not-to-exceed amount of $3,246,606.00 for the construction of the Agnes Street Extension Project as attached in Exhibit A, authorizing execution of all necessary documents upon request and providing for findings of fact, repealer, severability, effective date, proper notice, and meeting. Mr. Rosales.
Mayor, council, excited about this one.
Yes.
So, May 21st, city was awarded the GLO grant for Agnes Street. December 14th, we passed the resolution, entered into the contract with Kimley Horn for the design. September 16th, 2024, we got 5 bids for construction services for Agnes Street. Kimley Horn provided a recommendation to award the construction contract for this project to Joe Bland Construction LLC as the lowest responsible bidder. The scope of work will be for widening existing Agnes Street from SH 304 to Blacktail Drive, 2 lanes to 4 lanes. Extend Agnes Street from Blacktail Drive to Sterling Drive, and then to do some water, wastewater, stormwater infrastructure and extending along this portion. The completion of the project is 360 days for completion, so hopefully 1 year from this date. The limits of constructions are shown here on the map. Project funding, so GLO grant was for 2.0 million. And we'll issue a CO that is already out for 1.2. Total project cost is 3.2 million. We're going to be asking GLO for, GLO covered some, but we have some additional, I think it's up to maybe 4 million, or 400,000, I'm sorry. So we're going to be asking GLO to move some additional cost of the water line from non-GLO to GLO so that we don't give back money to GLO. As of right now, because the bids came in so low, we're going to have to give back some. So we're going to ask them to reallocate some of the funding from non-GLO to GLO, which will be, we're going to ask for $436,810 to go to GLO for the water infrastructure. If they tell us no, they tell us no. We just keep moving forward. If they tell us yes, then we get to put back 436 back into our budget. Base bids with GLO and non-GLO funded. As you said, bidder number 1 was Joe Bland Construction at 3.2, and you'll see 3.4 was the next, 3.8 was the third bidder, fourth bidder, 4.1, fifth bidder was 4.7. So those are our bids. And we're asking to make a recommendation to award to Joe Bland Construction LLC for $3.2 million. Any questions?
Council Member Fossler.
Please remind us what GLO is.
GLO, it is the General Land
Office.
Office, the state. They were who the, I think it's the federal government gave to allocate our funding, and so we work through them for all of our grant funding for these two, this one and Blakey.
Is that it? Huge project,
Yes.
has tremendous implications for our community long-term. Councilmember Meyer.
Thank you. Yes, in my past life, I was on P&Z for many years, and this was something that was always needed. It's been needed for years, but every year it would be, we didn't get the grant. So to see $2 million up there in a grant that was awarded, congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to the people that are going to be able to use this, but it makes me so happy to say finally today we got the grant, so thank you.
Yes.
Wheels of government move extraordinarily slow.
They do move slow, yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland.
What's the length of the addition that we're making?
I think it's 2 miles? 2,000 feet? Yeah, 2,000 feet.
Half a mile?
Half a mile.
Okay.
Roughly.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
I have a motion from Councilmember Plunkett.
Second.
I have a second from Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland. Seeing no, Councilmember Foster.
One more question, please. Is
Yes.
a year, 360 days, is that feasible?
It is feasible, and it has to be feasible because in order for GLO, for us to use those grant funds, they have to be expended by December of 2025. And so we're trying to give ourselves that buffer of November, December to make sure everything's submitted and taken care of. So they have to be done by, so we have a little bit of buffer, but we don't want to use it. We want to try to get them in.
Tell them that. They're not watching.
They
Okay.
are, yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion indicated, Madam City Secretary, if you will call the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland.
Yes.
Councilmember Plunkett.
Yes.
Councilmember Fossler.
Yes.
Councilmember Myers.
Yes?
Councilmember Lee.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion passes unanimously. We'll move to item 10C. Consider and act on a preliminary engineering study and water and wastewater master plan conducted by Freeze and Nichols as requested by Councilmember Lee and Mayor Nelson as previously discussed at the September 17, 2024 City Council meeting. Before Mr. Rosales comes up, I did not request this item to be put on the agenda. I thought it was just an informational request for information from Councilmember Lee. Are we acting upon this? And what are we acting upon?
I don't believe there's any action necessary.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not sure if
I didn't request the item either, so I was confused as to why it was on here. I requested it for the last meeting, but we didn't request to put it back on for this meeting.
So we can forego it?
Yes, you can forego it. There is a link in your packets that has lots of pages, so. Sorry, I sound loud over here. Obviously not out there. There is a link in the packet that contains a whole slew of information. We did meet with Friesen Nichols today to go over some of what were perceived to be errors in the report. They're going to provide a memo to the council, and so that should hopefully close the loop.
Outstanding. Thank you. Thank you. We will move on to item 10D, consider an act on resolution number R-2024-134, appointing 4 members to the Bastrop Central District Board of Directors for a term beginning January of 2025, providing for an executive of official ballot and providing an effective date. Madam City Secretary.
Yes, sir. I know y'all saw this on September 10th, and what the Central District did was put all 4 members to go for 3 years, 3-year term, and that was not correct. Because of the law change, they're going to have staggered terms. So they sent us a new resolution to approve. This just says beginning on January 2025, and then they will choose numbers to see who's going to go for 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year. In the meantime, one of the gentlemen that was on the list that you previously approved, Mr. Archer, has declined to be reappointed. So now there's only 4 people that y'all approved on September 10th, and they still have shown that they want to be reappointed to this board. Council can submit a name if you have a name that you would like to submit, or we can just submit for those 4. It's council pleasure.
Council, does anybody have a name that they'd like to submit, or do you want to move forward with the 4 that the City Secretary has lined out? If that's the case, I will entertain a motion.
To approve.
I have a motion to approve by Councilmember Lee.
Second.
I have a second by, I'm going to give it to the lady, Councilmember Meyer. Seeing no further discussion or questions indicated, Madam City Secretary, if you'll call the roll.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Plunkett.
Yes.
Councilmember Fossler.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland.
Yes.
Councilmember Myers.
Yes.
Councilmember Lee.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, council. I'm sure the appraisal board's happy too. Motion passes unanimously. We'll move on to 10E. Consider an act on the first reading of ordinance number 2024-34 regarding the City of Bastrop's Texas Municipal Retirement System, TMRS benefits, authorizing 1, a 20-year retirement eligibility, 2, non-retroactive repeating COLAs for retirees and their beneficiaries under TMRS Act Section 853-.404F and F13, annually accruing updated service credits and transfer updated service credits, and 4, authorizing actuarially determined city contribution rate payments. Ms. McElwain.
Good evening. This is what we had approved, or you, I'm sorry, not me, you had approved in the budget to go from 5 to 20 years. Number one, that is 4 different items in this ordinance. The first one is to change the eligibility from 25 to 20 years. The second is to adopt annually accruing the non-retroactive COLA for retirees and their beneficiaries. The third is to reauthorize our annually accruing updated service credits. This says the city will remain at 70%, but it is actually 100. Remove the maximum contribution rate limit. Changing the retirement eligibility from 25 to 20 years is just what it is. And then to adopt the annually accruing non-retroactive COLA. This, the current retroactive COLA, it is kind of a complicated look back that calculates the cumulative inflation from the date the retiree retires and applies that amount to the original benefit to determine their new month benefit. And the non-retro COLA is calculated based on inflation during the 12-month period before the COLA is granted, and it applies to the amount to their current benefit when determining the new monthly benefit.
The non-retro COLA is more equitable. All retirees receive the same percentage increase in the current benefit. It is less expensive for the cities. Not a lot. It reduces their amount by 2% over 20 years, so it's about 0.1% over 20 years. And it is a more transparent formula. We reauthorizing the annual updated service credit. It's 100%, and that's not going to change. That's just something we've got to do every year. And then removing the statutory maximum contribution rate limit, or the stat max. It is the limit on the amount TMRS can require the city to pay to TMRS. The stat max is not a limit to the cost of the plan, but it is a limit on the maximum a city can be required to contribute for the plan. This was actually a part of the original TMRS Act, which is an antiquated feature that has been removed by the majority of TMRS cities. Cities must take action on the stat max when the cost of the city's TMRS benefits exceed the limits. So our stat max currently is 13.5%, and we're trying to move it to 14.4 with the non-retro COLA. So it would have to be removed to do that. Now, that said, you have an updated ordinance on the dais we had originally put October 1st as the start date for this, but because we have to have 2 readings, it will not be effective until November 1st. And so that's changed in Section 1 and Section 4.
1 and 4. Did y'all see the changes there, Council? Sections 1 and 4. Any questions for Ms. McElwain? Seeing none indicated, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Councilmember Meyer.
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Plunkett. Further discussion, Councilmember Foster.
Yes, please. I don't understand the max limit. Can we go over the, I'm looking at the chart, and on page 80 of the agenda packet, is that where I just need it explained another way as well, because it's new information for me, and I was just having a hard time understanding it. So, what does it mean when we remove the max limit? Is this for company matches?
So a more simple way to put it is every city has a matching requirement, and ours is 2-to-1. So we moved the staff's contribution to 7%, or the city did in the year that I got here, to 7% from 6%. And so the city's contribution ostensibly should be 14%. 14% to the employees, 7%. But there's a formula that goes into that because there are retirees, there are folks that are not going to meet their 20-year limit. And so that number is usually around 13% or so if you're doing really well in funding your retirement payments the way you're supposed to. Some cities, when they get into bad financial straits, don't fund their retirement and they push it off. We are well funded. And so the stat max doesn't always necessarily line. It was put into place so that cities could have a ceiling and they could have some kind of assurance that it wouldn't, break the bank. But that's really not its function, because what it'll force us to do if we don't remove the stat max is we end up being behind. We won't be fully funded because we have a maximum contribution rate of, let's say, 13.5. But to fully fund our retirement system, it takes 14.4. And so removing that makes us continue to stay in line. The better function is to understand, if you want to, quote unquote, have a ceiling, is to understand what the city's maximum contribution to employees and benefits altogether would be. So if the city has a policy, for example, never to spend more than $5 million on employees and benefits, we work our way backwards from that plan instead of trying to fit this complicated formula.
So at the moment, if we pass this, we would have no limit. Other cities are doing this,
You absolutely have a limit, and you have a limit in the budget.
Okay.
And so when we show you the employee personnel file, which I call a salary edit, that's what we call it. When we show you the salary edit and the city is going to make a decision on, Are we going to go from 25 to 20, or are we going from 7% to 7.5%? And some cities have a 2.5 to 1 percentage, and some cities have even moved down. They've gone to 1 to 1 or 1.5 to 1. You absolutely have an inherent ceiling that's individual to every city's budget.
Okay, so is there any risk associated with doing this, with removing this limit?
No, but it is something that we absolutely need to have a discussion with every single budget season. Because the risk is the addition of employees, and we grow astronomically, and that contribution to retirement, gets bigger and bigger.
So this is for 1 year? This is something that we do every year, or is this the removing it?
No, this is removing it. I can't remember if it's till 20.
I know, like some of them are
26 or
every
if it's
year, and some
indefinite.
of them are. But it'll like, for next year, it'll be about 14%. It'll be just over 14%. Like, that's the range we're looking at.
Yes.
It's never going to go up to like 20, because our matching will always be like 7% until we change that.
It will go up to 20, let's say, if we don't do what we're supposed to be doing and funding it annually. If we miss payments to TMRS, which again, some cities are behind, if we don't do what we're supposed to be doing and keeping our retirement plan healthy, it will be reflected in that percentage, because you have to pay more to always catch up.
Okay.
A good managed plan, you should see that number come down.
We should see the 14% come down?
Yes.
Okay, and 14% is a well-managed plan? Like
Yes,
that is,
because the match is 7, 2 to 1, so 14% period. We have to catch up to go from 25 to 20, and so that's that 0.4 difference or so that you're going to see.
Okay, it's just the first time I've heard about this part.
No, no,
so
no,
I'm,
no.
I'm like, remove the limit. What?
It is the state, I like to call it, I think you and I had the conversation, it really is sort of the golden handcuffs. And it is a complex state plan that is defined by statute. So we have very little latitude in the plan itself, other than make our required contribution payments.
Okay.
A well-managed plan should never be deferred, that's for sure.
And there are cities,
Yes, there are.
who are not funded. I mean, there was a point in time where Corpus Christi was super far behind because it had not been keeping up with the employee retirement payments.
And have we, as a city, been in that shape before? Have we been behind?
No, we're good.
We are now, okay. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Myers, second by Councilmember Plunkett. Seeing no further discussion indicated, Madam City Secretary, will you call the roll?
Councilmember Myers?
Yes.
Councilmember Plunkett?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Kirkland?
Yes.
Councilmember Fossler?
Yes.
Councilmember Lee?
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Ms. McElwain. We'll move on to item number 11.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a
Second.
motion. I have a second. It is 5:50. We stand adjourned.